Where should I start the story about my life with heavy menstrual bleeding? The beginning, I suppose. I got my first period aged 13 and was shocked to find that it was nothing like I'd been led to believe. That was no more than a few teaspoons of blood and a little cramping or discomfort. What actually ensued was a horribly painful, messy, and exhausting affair that lasted well over a week. After a few months, my mum took me to the doctors, where we were told that this was perfectly normal and would eventually settle down. By the age of 14, I had missed significant chunks of school and was advised to go on the contraceptive pill to help manage my symptoms. To be fair, the pill did alleviate things, but it was definitely no magic bullet, or without unwanted side effects. I still dreaded that time of the month, struggled to cope, and felt somehow weaker and less able than my friends. I stayed on the pill until I wanted to start a family in my late 30s, and it wasn't until 6 months after the birth of my eldest daughter that I had my first real, unmedicated period in over 2 decades. It was absolutely awful. I had taken my daughter to her first baby swimming class, and we were both having an amazing time splashing around in the pool, until I felt the dreaded cramps kick in and something inside me shift. We left the class early in haste, and I just managed to get us both into the disabled bathroom and lock the door before the blood started coursing down my legs. There was so much blood, much more than I remember after giving birth. I was so scared. I wasn't really sure what was happening, and I just wanted to get us home as quickly as I could. I was too embarrassed to ask anybody for help, so I laid my baby on the cold, wet floor, and I listened to her scream while I tried to clean up the mess and work out what to do. I ended up using one of her nappies as a makeshift sanitary pad, and we both cried all the way home. I've never told anyone about that day because of the shame and humiliation that I still feel today. Unfortunately, I found that I could no longer tolerate the pill, and my periods began to have a significantly negative impact on my quality of life. The first couple of days were always characterized by floods that no sanitary products could ever handle, and invariably soaked right through my clothes. Despite this, it had never occurred to me that what I was going through was much different to anybody else. In fact, it wasn't until I went back to work and joined a research team investigating heavy menstrual bleeding that I started to question this assumption. It was the first time I'd ever seen any hard facts about menstrual flow and realized that the amount of blood I was losing each month was very far from normal. I was also shocked to find out how common this condition is, with 1 in 3 people who menstruate affected at some point in their life. Armed with this knowledge, I decided it was time to seek medical help again. After a lengthy wait and a series of rather uncomfortable, unpleasant examinations and tests, I was lucky enough to find that I have no obvious underlying pathology. However, like many others, this also means I don't have a diagnosis or a cause to work from. I've subsequently discovered that my mother's periods were also problematic and that she resorted to rather drastic surgical intervention. Fast forward 15 years, and I have 2 amazing teenage daughters. Unfortunately, both of whom are already anemic. It's too late now for my mum and I to get any answers, but I really hope that during my daughter's lifetime, there will be more menstrual health awareness, more support, more funding for research, faster diagnosis, and more treatments available for this ridiculously common and debilitating condition.